Welcome again, everyone, to another episode of Think About It. I'm your host, Dear Durand. What a time we had last week. Last week was really interesting, wasn't it? For those of you who tuned in, it was a good time. It was quite a learning experience, wasn't it? We had a good time learning the basic thinking tools and correcting our erroneous thinking. Today promises to even be more thought-provoking and engaging as we learn another simple yet effective thinking tool. Our Think expert, Dr. Akin Odubiton, is still with us, and this week he'll be sharing yet another proven thinking tool, this time by the renowned Dr. Edward De Bono. Remember, I mentioned him in the course of last week. Dr. A.O., please go right ahead. Tell us about the 6 thinking hats.
The 6 thinking hats is a thinking tool.
Okay.
It's one of the more comprehensive thinking tools.
Okay. Right.
6 thinking hats is a way of parallel thinking. So when you use the 6 thinking hats, you think about one thing at a time. So what the 6 thinking hats does is it helps you organize your thinking. Okay. So you say, okay, before you start thinking at all, the question is, this thinking, what am I thinking about?
Okay.
And what do I want after I have finished thinking about it? The 6 thinking hats are color coded. So when using the 6 thinking hats, this is the way to use them. First is the blue hat. The blue hat, think sky. The sky is blue. Yeah. Right. So think overview. Great. It gives you an overview or the objective of your thinking exercise. Blue. White hat. White, think clean sheet of paper. White, tabula rasa. Clean blackboard. Beer. So what information is just about information. What information do we need in this our thinking exercise? Right. That is the white hat. Black hat is about think judge, the robes of a judge. So what are the dark sides, what are the disadvantages, what are the dangers, what are the risks. Then there's the yellow hat, which think sun. Think sun, bright yellow.
Fun,
so what are the positives,
happy.
what are the opportunities, what are the possibilities, the advantages. And then there's the red hat, think blood, which is that
passion, emotion.
Think passion, think what's the feeling around this, what are the emotions around this, what do people feel, because we are feeling people, we are emotional people, we are sentimental people, even the best of us, and certainly definitely the worst of us. And then there's the green hat. So think green, think grass, think green, grass, growth, creativity, and that helps you think unconventionally, helps you break past boxes, labels, categories, which we all like, which supposedly makes things easier, but robs us of the opportunity to actually think.
Off we go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome. You are still listening to Think About It with your host, Dear Durand. Dr. Akin Odubiton, our think expert for the past couple of weeks now, was teaching us another basic thinking tool called the 6 thinking hats. This thinking tool was created by the renowned Dr. Edward De Bono, a medical physician, author, psychologist, to mention a few of his very esteemed titles. Off we go to practical class. This is what we're going to be doing in this session. You're going to listen to a radio drama and you are going to practice what you listen to with some of the tools Dr. Aki has taught us. Let's start our practical class, shall we? With an excerpt from Behavior Modification Media's drama series, In Transit.
Folabi, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ now? What is going on?
I'm checking it, ma. I'm checking it.
You are checking by just standing there and looking at the engine. Is it going to stand up and tell you what is wrong with it?
No, ma.
No, man, you are still standing there just looking. Shouldn't you be actually checking for something? looking for something, doing whatever it is that people do when their car stop and they open the bonnet.
Yes, ma.
Folabi, sure, we're all right. Are you okay? No, ma. Yes, ma. What are you saying? Do you even know anything about this type of vehicles? Yeah. Oluwagbami. Kini gbogbo eléyìí? What is all this? This boy does not know anything about... why am I wasting all this time and energy talking to him? Let me call my son to get me someone to come and look at the car.
Hello, mommy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Olami.
Hello.
Hello. Olambi Wonu, hello.
Hello, mommy.
Hello. I can't hear you at all. Where are you?
I'm in Lucky Phase 1.
Hello, wo, there's too much noise. I cannot hear you, wo. I will call you later, or you find somewhere to call me away from that noisy place, okay?
Okay, mom.
Hello, can you hear me? It's urgent.
What?
I say it's urgent. Hello.
What? I can't hear you, mommy. I'll call you back soon.
Yeah, maybe that one is at a party or something. I shall hope he calls me back soon. Folabi, you are still there, looking like a goat head. You didn't even put on seat caution behind the car. Don't you know you have to do that? On the road, oh Jare, not on the car, stupid boy. Do I have to teach you everything? What's wrong with you now?
I'm sorry, ma. Sorry.
You are sorry. You are sorry. You should cover your face in shame. The car that you are driving, it stops right in motion, and you have no idea whatever to do. What a nonsense shame.
Sorry, ma.
Is it not by God's mercy that this thing happened inside of town? Supposing it was one of those days we were traveling out of Lagos, like last month to Oshogbo for Chief Olowolagba mother's burial, or last week for my sister me daughter's wedding in Ibadan. Had it been one of those days, is that how you will just stand there like a door baby, just staring at me, looking at me in just the middle of a nowhere?
Sorry, ma.
Stop sorrying me, Ojare. Sorry me for what? This is the problem you have with helping family. If I did not give you a job now, your mother will say, Buru is a wicked person. He's a wicked person. Now look at your life. You have worked here for about 8 months. Even till now, you don't know anything about car. Since when you came, is 8 months not enough time for you to have learned?
Sorry, madam.
I hope there is nothing wrong with you this evening. If you don't stop saying that sorry, which I know is not from your heart, I will sorry your mouth for you. Nonsense. No rubbish.
Interesting drama, right? I love the madam. She really made me laugh. In fact, I had to remind myself that, my goodness, you're not supposed to laugh it off. This is not an LOL. Dr. O, you have to, yes, it's not an LOL moment. As you're laughing, you actually have to think. Yes? And remember, we have our basic thinking tool, the PMI, the plus, minus, and interesting. Then we also have the more comprehensive, the 6 hats. There are many more in between, by the way. So let me allow the good doctor to give us just a simple sample and hints on how you can attend to some of the questions that we'll be throwing out at you on Think About It.
For us to be able to practice.
Yes, so that's why we're narrowing it down.
The use of thinking tools. So that's a radio drama, and from that radio drama we have called out a topic called job competence, whose prerogative. So let's do a PMI on it being the prerogative of the employer. Yes. So now from the employer, so the simple way to use PMI is to use them one by one. When we look at it as it is the prerogative of the employer that the person who is employed should be competent at his work. So, plus, if it should be the prerogative of the employer, well, how does that work? So, I'd like us to all think together about it.
Yes.
So, what are the positives if it's the onus, if it's the responsibility of the employer? What are the positives? So, it means that means the employer needs to really know the job first. If competence is going to be dependent on the employer,
yes,
it means that the positive is that the employer knows.
So in this case, in the case of drama, the employer, you buy like a 20 million naira car. Come on.
So that means he must make sure that he gives the driver the manual.
Yes.
He makes sure the driver went to driving school, or he makes sure the driver takes advanced driving
classes for luxury
driving,
car.
Your car management.
Yes.
The employer needs to make sure that those things
Are in
happen
place.
because he is the employer. He is the one whose vehicle it is.
Yes.
Those are the positives. So you make sure that the capacity of the employer and the capacity of the assets
Yes.
are matching. The assets should match the employee. So
Yes.
if you are giving a 20 million naira asset to somebody, it needs to be
Yes.
somebody who can handle a 20 million naira
Correct.
asset.
Okay.
We've also spoken about the value of providing manuals
Yes.
to the person.
Enlighten the person.
You need to make sure because it's your asset.
It's your
Those are the
asset. It's your
positives.
car.
Those are the positives of it being the prerogative of the employer
Right.
in determining, competence of the employee.
Yes.
So now let's do minuses.
Okay.
What are the negatives when the employer is the one who determines the job competence of the employee? Yeah, so the negatives. Because like I said, PMI.
Yeah, okay.
There are negatives when an employer is the one who determines the job competence of the employee.
Okay.
So someone who cannot drive, for example, who has a car,
Yes.
how does he gauge competence?
Yeah.
So if it's the employer's prerogative,
Yeah.
he doesn't know.
And it
If
showed
he can't- he can't drive.
showed clearly in the character of Madame
Yeah.
because she also, she didn't.
She's as lost as the driver.
Terribly lost.
So this is that.
Terribly lost.
So the person doesn't know how to do the task. How do you
Yes.
now know who knows how
Go
to do the task
right?
or not? Now the interestings.
Okay.
So when it is the onus of the employer, detecting job competence. When it is the onus of the employer, what's interesting? I'm not saying it's not good, it's not bad. It's what's interesting about it, especially using the case in point of the driver. How can insurance companies help this problem? When you know how to think better,
Yes.
every subject becomes interesting. You cannot have a dull topic. Being intelligent is different from being a good thinker.
Yes.
An intelligent person, when he talks, you see him, no, that guy is good. No. That guy. It's not about him, it's about the subject. So this thing is even bigger than this job competence. Everybody says it's the employer. People say it's the employee, but it's not just the employer. Everybody, it's all of us. It now becomes about the subject.
Yes.
So the thinker is a less egotistic person
Than the
than the intelligent person. When you know how to think, when you have thinking tools and you've advanced your thinking skills using thinking tools, every subject becomes amazing.
I agree.
And interesting.
I agree.
And beautiful.
I agree. And on this note, we have to go. We could stay here for longer, right? I totally think so too. Next week will be we'll have to do a send-off for him. He'll be with us just for the last time where we can give you a proper recap. We'll conclude on the thinking tools and we prepare you on how to move forward and enjoy the program. Think about it. I can't thank you enough, Doctor. Next week, I am bringing in what I call a think buddy. Remember my definition for think buddy? Well, think buddy is just someone who's going to come in and we're just going to gist to cool our heads off from all this Dr. Dubiton's heavy training. So we'll relax. So we'll just gist about what we've learned. I just buttress it before we release him. But not to worry, he's one of us. Yes, he's in the Think About It think tank, so he can't go too far. We'll grab him again sooner than later. But on that note, we'll say goodbye.
Bye for now.